Welcome to Execupay's Platinum HCM. Today we're going to take a look at the time and attendance piece that's offered within the suite. So we're going to go ahead and log in here. I'm going to choose the company I'll be working with. And this brings me right up to the HR dashboard. Now it's important to note that when you enter employees into the HR side, it will push the employees over to payroll and it'll push the employees over to time and attendance. So there's no need to repeat the employee entry into all three sides. The applications talk back and forth to one another and make things easier on the administrator and less work. So from the time and attendance, we're here at the dashboard. And the dashboard has several widgets on it, and they're designed to make things a little bit easier, maybe to give you the information you're looking for without having to go in and run reports and look through time cards. Right here we can see our missing punches. One in Department 3, one in Department 2, and 6 in Department 1. We can see who's not in. We can see how many pending time off requests we have in each particular department. And we can see that we've got 8 hours of sick out there as well. Now, these widgets are interactive. So when I say we can see, if we click over here, we can see who's not in currently that should be. Down below on our status board, it shows up with the name of the person that isn't in yet. I click on Department 2, and I can see the other person in Department 2 that is not in. Looking at my missing punches, Department 3 has one, and William has a missing punch. Department 1 is covered by these 4 people that between them have 6 missing punches. I click my refresh, and that brings me up to my employee status board. With the status board, I can see the employees, their default department, whether they're clocked in or out, how many hours they have left before they reach overtime. Noting the amber here is that they are getting below 10 hours. Red means they're already out of hours. And the black means they've got more than 10 hours before they start getting into overtime. The number of hours they've worked in the pay period and the number of overtime hours they currently have. The date and time of their last punch, a contact number, and a direct supervisor. Now I can sort this status board, employee A to Z, Z to A. I can select just a specific department. I can choose to see only the people that are clocked in that department. I can select to see the hours to overtime from smallest to largest and largest to smallest. Same with the pay period hours and the overtime hours and the last punch. Down below I've got my scheduled versus actual widget, and this shows me how I'm doing with my scheduling based on the hours that the employees are actually working. With this I can see in a trending fashion as time goes along where my low labor usage is and where my high labor usage is. Very beneficial for forecasting and budgeting of hours. Now the major functions that are done within the time and attendance application would be fixing missing punches, running reports, approving time off, things like that. So from here we can click on an employee's name, and that's going to take us right into our time management. With our time management, we've got our exceptions, PTO requests, and timesheet. This is where the bulk of the work will be done, so we don't have to go clicking over into different menus to try to find the particular screens we need to do the work that we want. In here I can see all of the missing punches from all the employees I have access to. I can quickly fix the missing punch by clicking anywhere in the line. That brings up any other missing punches this person has. It brings up a screenshot of their hours for that week and what they've worked, all to help make sure that I'm giving them the right missing information. So here I can just give them a timeout, let's say 5:34 p.m. and click Save. The punch disappears, goes into the time card, and I can work on my next missing punch. Here on the underlined, I can see that I've got a picture, and over to the right, GPS coordinates. So if I click on this pic, it shows me the picture of the person that clocked in and the GPS coordinates of where they clocked in from. These come from either the tablet app or the mobile app. So if you're using either of those, this is a great tool to be able to tell who's clocking in and where they're clocking in from. My PTO requests, I can see my future PTO requests and my current PTO requests. It gives me the name of the person, the day of the week, the date, whether it's all day or starts at a specific time, the bank they would like to use, whether that bank allows negative hours or not, the number of hours they want to deduct, how many they have left remaining, the date and time of the request in case they've got more than one person requesting time off, the note from the employee. Now, if I'm curious as to whether or not I can give Julie the day off on April 11th, I can come over here to my View PTOs and Calendar, switch to April, show PTOs, and I can see I don't have anybody currently scheduled for time off on the 11th. So with that information, I can then decide whether or not I can allow Julie the day off or whether to deny the request. The next would be the timesheet. We click here on the timesheet tab, and now we can take a look at someone's timesheet. It's color-coded to be able to easily pick out the different categories that are in the time card. I can see the teal is unpaid time. The purple would be bonus, tip, commission, anything like that. The red is going to be an incomplete or a missing punch. This person has a missing punch from the 4th of March. I'm in the pay period the 19th to the 25th. These missing punches are going to follow me around regardless of what pay period I select until I finally go in and correct the missing punch. I can see here that she's got personal time. I can see on this day here the morning punch, lunch, the evening punch. Here I can see an entire day without the lunch, clocking in at 7 a.m., clocking out at 2 p.m. The hours, the department the employee was assigned, and whether they're early or late based on their schedule. I can see that she's still clocked in. She clocked in this morning at 7 a.m. The schedule appears down below. I can also edit this schedule from here. I can see the totals for the pay period here. 24.5 total payable hours. Of that, 16.5 worked. Not worked was 8, and of that not worked, the category of it was 8 in personal. The same thing's over here on the weekly one because it's simply a weekly pay period. But if this was a bi-weekly or semi-monthly, you may have 2 or 3 weeks and be able to click on each week to find out what the payable hours were within each week. For my time card approvals, I can click on Show Approvals. This is the current pay period, so I'm not going to approve a current pay period until it's complete. I can go back to previous pay period, and I can see here I have the option to sign off. I've already signed off on this particular pay period, which blocks the time card itself, so now it cannot be altered by either the supervisor, the manager, or the admin unless I were to revert this. This helps to protect that once a time card's been approved, nobody can go back behind the approver and make changes to the time card without them knowing. Once we revert and the changes have been saved, the time card can then be signed off on again, and that would block it from being edited. If we need to print the time card report, we can click on Print Timesheet. We can see everything for that period in here, including a signature line. We can select print to print it right from the browser, or if we wanted to save it, we could choose the format we wanted to save it in, and then click the export button to save that to our hard drive. Pay periods are easy to close and easy to transmit hours. From here, I can come up to Payroll Routines, Close Pay Periods. I select the pay period I want to close and choose Close. Then I would just click OK and the pay period would be closed. Once I have approved my employees' times, I can then transmit the payroll with the push of a button, clicking here, and then all I have to do is click on here to push the hours of those who have been approved over to the payroll side, and then I can click on payroll to go work further in there with those hours. There's an employee portal with the time and attendance application. With this portal, employees can clock in or out. It will notify them if they have missing punches. They can go to lunch, come back from lunch, change departments, and they would be able to go to break and come back from break had I given them the option for this. They're able to view their schedule, their PTO balances. They can request time off. They can view their timesheets, print their timesheets, and approve their timesheets, or they can log off. With this, we can create multiple policies for different types of employees. If we have employees that we want to be able to view their PTO, request time off, and approve their timesheets, we can take away the ability to start and stop, the ability to go to lunch or switch, and all they would have was simply what we give them access to. And we can have as many profiles as we need to fit the different varieties of employees within the company that we want to be able to utilize the employee portal. Along with the employee portal, we have hardware options. We have here a proximity reader, barcode, mag stripe reader, or a fingerprint reader. These clocks are plug and play, easy to hook up, easy to install, and the employees can start using the clock straight away. When an employee clocks in or out from the clock, the punch goes directly to the software, so there's no waiting for clocks to be pulled. The BioPad is for a more contemporary office style. It features a touchscreen, fingerprint, prox capability with a battery backup should the power go out. The 922 is a mobile clock. This clock can be carried to any off-site location, events, construction, landscaping, things like that, and the employees can clock in and out through this clock. The clock does have its own battery and will last about a day and a half without power if it's left on throughout the entire time. This clock can connect through Wi-Fi to transmit punches. It is also easy from a smartphone to hook up a hotspot and connect the clock to your smartphone's hotspot, and that will transmit the punches also. Hand readers are also a part of the lineup. This is the GT400, which also does real-time information. It pushes the punches as they occur. We are also able to integrate older hand punch machines, the HP 2000s through 4000 models. For those of you that do not want hardware, we also offer a tablet app. These work great when you put a tablet in a kiosk. The employees can just come and log in, clock in or out, change departments. It can be set to take the employee's picture. It can be set to record GPS coordinates. The mobile app, the same thing. This is more personalized for the employee that they would carry on their smartphone. With it, they too can clock in or out, go to lunch, break, change departments. This will also capture their photo if enabled at the time they clock in, and will record the GPS coordinates and transfer those to the app. This concludes the demo of the time and attendance software in the Execupay HCM Platinum. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your representatives.